With that, we want to move on to the next segment, which is customer support. And to cover this, we've invited one of our close partners, Microsoft Gold partners, known as CX Unicorn. They are really transforming a lot of such scenarios when it comes to customer connects, customer support. And they're working very closely with different industries, specifically banking, healthcare, even some certain government organizations in different countries. And they have certain IPs that have really helped their customers achieve customer support using Teams and using platform capabilities. I would love for them to join in and share the experience with the rest of us.
Right. Hello, everybody. This is Nikita from Tech Unicorn, the gold partner that Karan very kindly introduced us as. I will be walking you through one of our products called Rise, and specifically more around the WhatsApp integration capability that we think really drives value for a lot of the businesses and our clients that we have worked with. A quick summary of the application is that the goal for the application is to increase customer touch points and to simply simplify the customer service experience by having WhatsApp integration, where you can quickly have a meeting scheduled through a bot interaction. You can receive customer documentation, and you can also chat with customers through Microsoft Teams while the customers interface through WhatsApp itself. The use case workflows goes something like this, where we have considered the obvious two user roles, being either the customer service agent or the relationship manager in the FSI use case, and the customer. The journey starts with the CSA initiating by creating a meeting on Microsoft Teams, and a link is then sent to the customer. Now, again, as Karan did mention, the customer does not necessarily need to have Teams downloaded. They would simply access the link, and the session would open up in a browser. They continue the session to their browser, and we have the agent joining in through Microsoft Teams. Again, through this experience, throughout the meeting, the customer can also have files shared with the agent, and the agent can receive these files on Teams. Here are some mock-ups to kind of give you more context around the journey. This is the bot interface that we have, where the CSA essentially enters the relevant details and sends out a meeting invite to the customer. The customer then receives it on WhatsApp, like so. The customer can also then send files, and the bot for the customer service agent would sort of send it prior to having it downloaded for the agent. The bot requests for permission to allow for the download or not. Again, this is just around compliance purposes, and I'll be showing you a live demo in a little bit for the same. Some additional features on top of this is, again, having this embedded within your native application, where customers can have the file sharing features, image sharing, location sharing, voice notes, etc., accessible to them. Again, where you're not kind of moving the customer around too much. The customer uses a interface that is preferred and easier for them to access. Here are some of the other use cases that we have worked on, right, where we have built dashboards for the customer to give them more of a visual experience on how their customer service is doing, the average meeting time, and bringing in an omni-channel experience where they can also see the interactions that are happening through the application in terms of the number of calls, the call quality, the number of calls coming in or queries coming in through WhatsApp, and just generally per agent support skill report on how each agent is performing. And also the application also ensures that every session with the customer is auto-recorded and again can be saved either on cloud or on-prem based on your preferences. And we've also created an interface for some of our clients to be able to quickly have access to all of these sessions.
Nikita, just a quick question. So the customers that you're working with, I'm fairly sure that the experience is not just limited to WhatsApp, right? Like I'm sure you have examples where other social media channels or certain examples that we spoke about, that the customer being on the website or the application and invoking that customer connect through that channel. I'm sure this particular IP can be retrofitted there as well.
Absolutely, that is correct. So as I had mentioned earlier, You can have the custom interfacing either through your native application, through your website itself, through Facebook Messenger, or through WhatsApp. Yeah.
Got it.
I'm actually going to pause here for a bit prior to the live demo for any questions that anybody may have regarding the solution journey or the application itself.
I'm having one question. This is Virendra. Yeah, are these applications will be integrated, separately in the teams, or how the deployment will happen? We need outside support, or we need a SME support to deploy or integrate these applications inside the teams, or it can be ready to connect with the teams directly.
Right, so how we work for the deployment itself, we would engage with you as a partner and have the application deployed onto your tenant, onto your subscription. So the deployment period would be about a day or day and a half, and then we would have a week for testing to make sure the application works fine. And then you can feel free to move it to production as you feel fit.
Okay.
And Virendra, just to add to that, right? I mean, it essentially depends on the scenario that you have. And before we get to the solutioning aspect, we can always help you identify first of all, understand the business problem clearly, and then suggest. Like I mentioned, there are some template solutions, low code solutions, but if you're looking for a scenario where a little more customization is required, and maybe an embed experience is required for your customer, that's when we can think of maybe looping the partner in, or just thinking of building a custom application. But there are various options, and it all boils down to the scenario that you have.
Yeah, I'm not talking about, suppose if I'm talking about other application like which you have showcased, like appointment manager and other applications. So those templates are ready to use. Means suppose I wanted to integrate one application right away, like this appointment manager, right? So the ready to use template is there. So can we integrate from our own, or we need anything to anyone to call and integrate on our tenant? And after that it will be rolled out for the end users.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can try use, we have the whole documentation clearly listed out, the steps to actually deploy that template, even some recommendations on customizing it. But you can totally try to do that yourself. And if there is help needed, of course, like you can reach out to us and we can get you the dev support required as well.
So any end user, suppose any business user or sales team or any team, any department, finance department, will be able to add from their own as an end user, or first of all we need to integrate in our tenant, and after that it will be visible to all the users.
Yeah, so Virendra, app templates are basically ready to deploy coded integrations. So the first step would be somebody from your internal dev team following the guidance and deploying this app in your tenant, post which you can make it available in the team store for business users within your company to pick up and install it for themselves and specific teams, etc.
Okay, it will not be ready to use directly for the end users. First of all, we need to deploy in our tenant, and after that it will be accessible through the mass rollout for the end users, right?
Correct.
Right.
So once you
Got
have
it.
it
Thank you so much.
installed in your account or deployed, if you're okay with the template and the template looks good and it, like Karan mentioned, it solves for the business scenario, you can deploy it, ensure that it looks good, and then what do you say as like you mentioned, a rollout, or you can publish it so that everybody in the organization then can start using it.
Okay. And for that we need to connect you with your team, or I'll be connecting with you, Harish, for any
Yeah, you can
specific
connect with
template
us,
style access.
or I mean, the deployment guide allows you to actually do it end to end, where you can also publish. But of course, if you're doing it for the first time, you can definitely connect with us and we can help out.
Okay, SOP and all the procedures are already mentioned, so we can go and we can start integrating on tenant from our own as a BUIT team.
Yes,
Or
you
as
can
a
try
when
it first. Yeah, as your IT team, you can try it out first, and of course, reach out to us. And once you've deployed one, you will understand what the steps would be involved for everything else that you want to solve for.
Sure, Harish. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
And Virendra, the guidance here is same for any app template, and there are quite a few templates that I think Radhi and others have shared. So any app deployment template that you find is a good use case, you can do the same for them as well.
Yeah, sure. We'll start from the one, and after that we will start rolling out or publishing or integrating as per the business requirement. Yeah, sure, Karan. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, back to you, Nikita.
All right, then, if there are no further questions, I will just go ahead and
Yeah,
share my
sorry,
screen.
Nikita, taking your time in between. Thank
No
you.
problem, no problem, that's okay. So
Thank
give me a second, allow me to share my screen and just show you how the experience looks on WhatsApp. In a moment. All right. So here we have an existing bot that the customer has interacted with earlier. But the idea again is that the bot can also send proactive notifications. Now, if I'm an existing customer with the organization, I could maybe ask the bot when is my meeting. And the bot is then expected to respond with the next scheduled meeting with the relationship manager in this case. And if it's a session that the CSA may have scheduled prior in advance with the customer, maybe after a phone call, the bot can even proactively have this message sent to the customer. Now, as a customer, I can simply click on this link, and as you can see, the session opens up on a browser. I can choose to enable my mic and my camera. I'm just going to switch off the camera for now. Enter my details. Now, in terms of the look and feel for this interface can be completely customized. The customer can select which camera they want to use from their device with speakerphone, and they can initiate the call. Right. Once the call is initiated, essentially it would connect with the customer service agent. So currently I'm connected with my colleague Aranyak, and this is how it looks. Again, we can completely have this customized in terms of the video layout itself, but this is just to give you an idea of how it looks. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and get my colleague AK to share the screen instead, who would then show how the agent would receive the call. Right, so the agent can see me, and I'll join as the customer, and the agent can see me from within Microsoft Teams, and this is a call that he's having on Microsoft Teams. Now, in addition to this,
yeah, sorry, Nikita. I just wanted to ask something. Do you have a view of what the agent actually sees as the incoming request from the customer? And the next question is that specific bot that the user is using on WhatsApp, is there a FAQ that goes on, or is there a live chat functionality between the agent and the end customer as well using your bot?
Sorry, I lost you there for a bit, Karan. Would you mind repeating the second half of what you mentioned?
Yeah, basically what I was asking was, so we saw the experience where the customer is able to understand when the next call is and click the link and join, but does the bot also power a live chat experience?
Yes. So the bot also sort of initiates a call for the agent itself when a customer initiates a request. So there are two ways to go about with this. If it's a pre-scheduled call, the agent can simply join in through their calendar. And if it's a sort of impromptu call, the bot would dial in the agent requesting them to join the session. Similar to how if a colleague sort of dials you into a session, the bot would dial you in the same way as well. So we do have both of the experiences.
So Nikita, in this, customer will be joining the call from the WhatsApp, and our agent will be joining the call from the Teams, right?
That is correct.
He doesn't require to the Teams to be installed in his mobile or the computer.
No, the customer has no need to have Microsoft Teams installed on their computer or their desktop. The session will initiate on a browser, and they can carry on the session through that. Again, if you want this session to maybe be or the call to be embedded within your website, we can also have that done. So for the customer, the experience is simply clicking on the link and going on through your website and having the call there.
Okay, he has to just click on the link which is there on the WhatsApp, right?
That is correct.
And our agent will be joining the team this meeting from the MS Teams application.
One other feature that I would like to also show you on WhatsApp is the ability for the customer to even share files. So in the event of maybe an account opening of some sort, the customer can then also have their files shared through WhatsApp itself. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, now we're able to see.
So as a customer, I can select any document. And the bot will confirm as soon as it receives the document. Let me share my Teams with you to show you how the bot will receive it. Right. As this is our test environment, that's the reason we have this error on top, but the bot itself is working fine. But you can see here that the bot is requesting for permission prior to initiating download for the file. You can see the name of the file and you can see who is trying to send this to me. I allow and the file gets downloaded. Yeah, and I can go ahead and download the file or I can open it in a browser.
This file has been sent by customer to the agent, right?
Exactly. So as you saw while I was sharing my screen through WhatsApp, I had shared a file to the bot, and the bot has then routed the file to me as the agent. And I've received it on Microsoft Teams. The bot first asked for permission prior to downloading the file. Once I've given it the permission, the file is ready for me to either download on my system or view on a browser.
Nikita, I have another question. I see the personal scope bot here, this application. Just to add more collaboration aspect to, let's say, a team of agents working on such scenarios, is this also available to be used in a channel? Can we use the application in a channel full of agents? Definitely.
That can be done as well. So there is another scenario that we worked on where this is around the customer service team where we had digitized the entire customer support module, where the organization wanted customers to be able to go to their website and initiate an immediate call. Once this call was initiated, the call would go out in a round robin fashion to all of the customer service agents and finally dialing in the first agent that is available. Again, the entire channel is notified on this call. Any sort of files that are being shared with the customers can be accessed by the manager as well. They can have a collaborative experience by pulling in another CSA should they require additional support with the engagement of the customer. So yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, that's a great scenario, and I think it's agnostic of vertical as well. I'm sure there are customers from all segments, right? Like healthcare, retail, banking, that are inquiring and trying to build this with you.
Right.